Welcome back to the Sober Web. I am Clark, your host and creator, and I'm so happy that you found this video because today I'm going to talk about how quitting alcohol changed my life. I'm not excited about it because I get to tell my story or part of it. I'm excited because I hope that you see and understand that there are benefits to quitting alcohol, that it can change your life in amazing ways. So I hope that you watch the entire video because at the end, I'm going to offer a key takeaway from it all that I think could hopefully save your sobriety and ultimately save your life. But before we get into that, hit the like button if you're sober today. In the comments, leave your sober date so I can hit the like button in return and celebrate and support you. And then hit the subscribe button for more content like this. Now let's dive into the topic of how quitting alcohol changed my life. And I'm not gonna bore you with all the nitty gritty and the details of all the necessary changes I had to make. I'm gonna focus on the mind, body, and spirit because those are the powerful changes that occur when you give up alcohol. And one of the most important ways that it changed my life is it made me a more authentic human being and it made me a better parent. In terms of human to human interaction, stuff like that, and even with my own son, slowly over time as I got away from alcohol, I was able to truly connect with people on a much deeper level, especially as a parent, being there for my son when he needed me and not being distracted by the desire or the need for alcohol. But then that ability to truly listen and truly hear people and truly be in their world started to manifest in my relationships with other people. And that's an amazing thing that comes with quitting alcohol, because the reality is that we use alcohol, or at least I did, to protect ourselves from something, from reality. And ultimately that also blocks us from truly connecting with other people. So if you are courageous enough to give up alcohol and quit today or tomorrow or even a year from now, I promise you in time, this change is amazing where you will feel more deeply connected with everyone, even if you're a parent, even if you're not a parent. And I gotta be honest, parenting as a sober person is one of the most powerful and amazing things I could have ever asked for in terms of life giving back to me and allowing myself to grow even more in my sobriety. A second way that quitting alcohol changed my life was that it reduced the anxiety that I had around social settings. Hit the like button if you understand what that means without me even going any further. But ultimately, it did reduce my social circle, but in a really good way because I didn't have to go out anymore and I didn't have to have small talk with people at bars and I didn't have to buy people drinks to make them like me or think that I was cool or that I had money. I didn't have to worry about trying to meet someone at a bar, which takes off so much pressure. So honestly, quitting alcohol allowed me to actually take a step back from a social life, which I know that if you're in early sobriety, that can feel really kind of overwhelming, this idea that you're giving up a social setting or a social life that's become part of your identity. But think about it and be honest with yourself. And do you really actually enjoy the social settings that have to do with drinking alcohol or partying or celebrating? Because it kind of can get overwhelming. And then let's, also get into the idea of peer pressure, how you don't have to worry about people pressuring you into drink anymore when you give up alcohol. So an amazing change and benefit of quitting alcohol is just the fact that you don't have to deal with it anymore if you don't want to. And the third change, since I mentioned talking about how quitting alcohol benefited my mind, body, and spirit, in terms of my body, I'm just the healthiest I've ever been in my sobriety. My sober date is October 1st, 2017. I don't know when you're watching this. Hopefully it's 2027 or 2037. No matter when you watch it, I will still be sober, and I honestly will probably still consider myself the healthiest I've ever been because the further I've gotten away from alcohol, my body has healed. I don't get as sick as often. And it's amazing, even as an athlete and a CrossFit coach, how my body recovers so much more quickly than it did back in the day when I thought I was being healthy, but I was binge drinking on the weekends after working out and trying to fast and be healthy and set a good example. So really on a physical level, just quitting alcohol just can fix so many things. Your blood pressure can go down. Obviously, there are weight loss benefits to quitting alcohol, which are immeasurable. And ultimately, the immune system just gets so much stronger because it finally has a chance to do what it is meant to do in order to take care of us and help us live a long, healthier life. And finally, the fourth change I want to talk about that came with quitting alcohol was I was able to get rid of a mentality that revolved around guilt and shame. Hit the like button if you understand what I mean, because in addiction, a lot of times what feeds the cycle is guilt and shame. We feel guilt and shame over being an addict or struggling with alcohol. We feel guilt and shame when we relapse because we thought we were strong enough to overcome it. We feel guilt and shame because of past pain that maybe we are aware of or we're not aware of. And those two things just feed this endless cycle that keeps us stuck in addiction and self-sabotage for so very long. But by quitting alcohol, I was able to begin to understand where that guilt and shame came from, which allowed me to eventually erase the guilt and shame, or at least not dwell in it and let it go and know that it wasn't a fair way for me to feel about myself. And so I no longer had to punish myself or hurt myself or sabotage my life or the good things that were happening. And hit the like button if you understand what that means. But more powerfully, because of quitting alcohol, I was ultimately able just to forgive myself for past mistakes that may have or may not have been my fault. You know, we are all responsible for what we do while we're in the throes of our addiction, but ultimately, we're not really responsible for being an addict. It's a learned behavior. Maybe we watched parents do it. Maybe they learned it from those that came before, but we're not just prone to self-sabotaging and destroying our life with a substance of some sort. It's just not natural. But yet we beat ourselves up all the time and we put this heavy blanket of guilt and shame on us that we allow to dictate our life and our drinking or our use of a substance. And really, we just get to forgive ourselves once we quit alcohol because we learn that ultimately none of it's really our fault. And just the forgiveness just releases the guilt and shame, and it's just a huge sense of relief in your life. And I really want it for you. So I hope that that one hits home one way or another so that you know that quitting alcohol has an absolute amazing benefit in terms of your heart and your spirit. And that you too can not only be free of alcohol, but you can be free of the guilt and shame associated with it. And so, I mean, there you have it, my friends. I've got 4 changes that happened when I quit alcohol. Changes and benefits I believe that you yourself can utilize and experience and grow into if you have the courage to quit, when you have the courage to quit alcohol. In the description below, I've got links to a bunch of books that I think are paramount in the sober journey when quitting alcohol. Check out Breathing Underwater by Richard Rohr. Check out The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And check out also This Naked Mind, because those are all books that can offer lots of insight to the spiritual, emotional, and mental and physical side of addiction in general and how to overcome it by understanding our past and the emotions involved in it all. And I hope that they can change your life. So in the description, all those links are available to those books. I hope that you check them out. They are super powerful and beneficial to your sober journey. Until I see you again, my friends, please be sure to hit the like button if you found this video valuable. Leave a comment not only with your sober date, but also with ideas and topics that you would like to see videos made on, because ultimately I want to make stuff that's going to support you in your journey and specifically what you want to talk about. And then please hit the subscribe button and the bell, that way you know when I release a video, because that way it's the only way that I can get you content. So hit that like, hit that subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you next time. All right, once again, Clark with the Sober Web, over and out. Much love, much life. Talk to you soon.